I'm staring at them. The one is crouching down. She's a female. Her hair, she's covered in hair. It's thinner on her chest, kind of like an orangutan. She had these amazing eyes. They were brown as well. They were like almost like a caramel color, and there was so much depth and intelligence and feeling in them. The other creature was very large and very, very dark black.
This is the Cryptid Creature Show. I am Brian, and with me, as always, is my co-host Todd. What's up, buddy?
Brian, my friend, I'm just getting excited about what's coming up here in about a week. We're going to be going down to, once again, CryptidCon 2024 in Lexington, Kentucky at the Clarion Hotel and Conference Center.
It's gonna be a big one this year too. They got some big names coming, so
it will be. What is this? Our fourth year there now, I believe. Is it our fourth?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Everybody's going to be there this year. Cliff, Renee,
Giorgio Tsoukalos.
He's going to be there.
From Ancient Aliens, if you don't know him.
Right. Everyone from Expedition Bigfoot, Russ and Maria. Cliff's going to be there. Cliff Brackman.
Jessica Chobot, I'm sure everybody remembers her from
a lot of big names. This is probably going to be the biggest CryptidCon yet.
Expedition X, formerly of Expedition X.
Yes. So, listeners, if you guys can make it to Lexington, Kentucky, November 23rd and 24th.
Yeah, come out and see us. Say hello.
Yeah, we'll have a booth set up there. Come talk to us, hang out with us, and see everybody else. That's cool. It's a really good time. It's 2 days of fun.
Yeah, it's going to be loaded this year.
So we're looking really forward to that coming up.
Heck yeah.
So tonight, Brian, our guest is Bethany. Bethany has had some Bigfoot experiences and encounters, I believe, in the state of Washington.
Awesome. We love Washington.
Yeah, so I think she saw some when she was younger and then some more when she was older, I believe. So
cool.
I'm pretty interested to hear what she's got to say and hear about her encounters. So, with that said, are you ready to bring her on?
Yep, let's get her.
Hi, Bethany. How you doing?
There she is.
I'm doing okay.
So, welcome to the show. Thanks for being here with us tonight.
Thank you.
So we're talking to you. Are you in Washington? That's right?
Yep.
Okay. And I know we have been discussing a little bit. I think you reached out to us via email maybe, and we were talking about you had some experiences going on there where you're at with maybe some Bigfoot encounters. When did these happen?
It's been a long time. The first one was, years and years ago. I was, I think, 7 or 8.
Can you tell us what part of Washington these happened in? Just a general location?
Oh, maybe? Yeah. They happened. I'd like to keep it vague.
That's fine.
Just to protect them, but it happened up in the Olympic, the national park.
Okay.
Olympic awesome. National Park. It's very beautiful up there, but there's so much wilderness.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually a rainforest up here.
Yeah,
a lot of people don't realize that.
Right.
Yeah, that's what they say.
Well, go ahead and start from the beginning and tell us when everything started and what all you experienced and how you want to lay it out.
All right. My first encounter was not far from my home. So my cousin bullied my brother and I was running from him, and across the street and up maybe like 2 houses worth distance-wise. There were no houses on that side of the road, just woods. I had been riding my bike. I dropped my bike and I ran into the woods. So I had a little bit of a head start in front of my cousin, and I was running. And so I ran in a little ways, although it probably wasn't that far because, the memory of a kid. And I run into this clearing, and there's these 2 creatures there. And for a few years, I chalked this up to the mind of a child taking a traumatic a traumatic incident and turning it into some fantasy. At that point, I didn't know what a Bigfoot was. I had traumatic things happen to me in my life at that point, but but the weird thing is, I had also sat with the elders of the local First Nation people, and I'd heard a lot of their legends, and so I'm looking at these creatures, and they're looking back at me, and my cousin catches up. I'm going to back up just a little bit. So I'm staring at them. The one is crouching down, and she's a female. Her hair, she's covered in hair. It's thinner on her chest, kind of like an orangutan. And I remember looking at her and being reminded of my mother when I had seen her in the shower or anything. And then she had these amazing eyes. They were brown as well. They were almost like a caramel color. And there was so much depth and intelligence and feeling in them. And then the other creature was very large and very, very dark black, like very, very dark and very, very large. And I was a very, very small child. I was a petite child is what I mean. So I'm probably going to say, judging by what my cousin's height was, that they were, the black one was probably about 7 feet tall, maybe 6.5. So not as huge, but still pretty large. So my cousin catches up and grabs a hold of me very roughly. And that's when the black one, a male, that's when he shows the first reaction. He screams. And you hear people talk about the screams that they hear. And you can feel it in your bones. But I never really felt, I didn't feel that much fear. Like, I felt that child, like, when you're a child and you're afraid. But it wasn't like, I didn't feel like I was in danger. It's hard to explain. But at that point, my cousin let go of me and ran. I couldn't move. And then the male, he had taken a step forward, and he took another one, and then I turned around, and that's when I ran. And I could hear him running behind me, and it was like they were guiding me. And I didn't think about it till much later in life, but when I would go too far one way, they would get close and grunt and whoop and whistle. And if I went too far the other way, the other one would get close and do the same. And they did that until I reached the road, right where my bike was. And like I said, I never felt like I was in any danger. Not any true danger. And so, like I said, I chalked it up to my mind just making a fairy tale out of a traumatic event. Until a few years later. So this one, I didn't see anything, but it was nighttime. Same cousin. it was a bunch of people and a bunch of kids from the neighborhood, and me, my brother, and we were at my cousin's house, and something was in the woods, and my cousin and his friends started throwing rocks into the woods, and rocks started coming back, and I've always been an animal lover. I didn't think it was right that they were throwing rocks at them, but like everybody was getting either near misses or getting hit by these rocks. And these rocks were way bigger than what we were throwing or what they were throwing. But I didn't feel afraid. I felt like, I'm not throwing anything. I'm not going to get hurt. That was about 2 years after the initial encounter. And during those 2 years, I never felt afraid in those woods. I always felt like I always felt protected, almost, but not like in those terms. It wasn't until quite recently when I spoke to you the first time that is how I really realized that's how I felt. So that was the rock throwing incident. And then shortly after that, I had moved a few miles up the road, and me and a different cousin, a very good friend of mine, a younger cousin, we were riding our bike, and we came around a corner. And this was the encounter that made me a believer. I had done some research after the rock throwing incident, and I had talked to some of the tribal elders. Not like a lot. I didn't tell them what I saw. I just had asked a few vague. So we rode our bikes around the corner, and she screams as soon as she sees them, and she turns around and she hightails it out of there. And I just stop because I see the two creatures. And it's the same creatures. They look a little different, but they're I know it's them. And I know, I'm not sure I realized it quite at the time. I knew they looked different, but I'm not sure when I realized it. But they're a mated pair, I'm sure. The woman, the female, it was obvious that she had been nursing. So whatever, Bigfoot or Sasquatch are, they breed. So I was looking at them, and the males, like, they were picking berries. The female was kind of crouched down. That's the word I'm looking for. And the male was standing again, and he picked a berry and walked off into the woods. And her and I just kind of studied each other for a little while, and it was very profound and it was definitely a core moment in my life, a core memory. It was something that gave me more respect for nature than I already had at that time. But her eyes again, just, I'll never forget the eyes. And you could see the recognition in them. She knew who I was.
Bethany, can you describe what these creatures look like? Were they more human, or what's your definition of what they look like to you?
They were, so I've been thinking about how to answer this question for a little while now, and I think instead of going with they look like Bigfoot or anything like that, I think what I'm going to say is I'm going to kind of start from scratch here. They're humanoid, obviously. They have a layer of hair. They do smell. They do have a scent, but it's not quite what a lot of people describe it as, or at least these ones didn't have that scent. but their hair didn't look dirty to me. It didn't look like neat and clean and trimmed or anything, but it was thick in some parts, but you still see the muscles underneath. These are powerful beings. Like the way that you can see the muscles move underneath. And I thought it was interesting, or I think it's interesting now. And this is something that's kind of endearing to me. And I'm hoping that I'm remembering. Like I said, this was a long time ago, but the female is heavier than the male, and heavier in the second encounter. But like you could still see the muscles and the shape of everything. And so they've got, 5 fingers, 5 toes, all that. The head, everybody talks about them having like the cone shape. And the male had more of a pronounced cone, but it's not as dramatic as I've seen in illustrations. The females was somewhat more round, but still slightly coned. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. And the face was kind of Neanderthal-ish. Am I saying that right? But the flat nose, the hair on the face is much thinner. Maybe thinner is not the right word. Finer. And like I said, like the flat nose. The mouth is somewhere between like an ape and a human, but the eyes, they're something else entirely. They're definitely human-like, but I wouldn't call them quite human. They hold something that is altogether above human.
What do you mean by that, Bethany?
I'm a bit of a misanthrope. I'm not a big fan of humans. I've seen the true evil that they can do. These creatures seem to be, they're not, they can't make fire, they can't, do things like that, but they are intelligent enough to have values. There's kindness in those eyes. There's a beauty and a peace and I'm not sure how to describe it. When they look at you, they know who you are inside. They know your soul. It's like they can tell if you're a good person or not. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't hate all humans or anything like that. I'm not like that. But they kind of remind me of dolphins in that way. Dolphins are very intelligent, but they use their intelligence to have fun. And it seems to me that Sasquatch use their intelligence to protect and just take care of the environment they're in.
Yeah, I can totally understand what you're saying. Yeah, I believe it. I believe that too. I think they're more of a kind, gentler creature that doesn't mean harm. But I think they've also seen what humans can do, and I think they know more about us than we know about them, and they watch us, and they're able to watch us in different scenarios. And so they understand us more, and they know that we're capable of wreaking havoc and causing catastrophe,
Yeah.
So
the reaction of the male when my cousin came into the clearing and grabbed hold of me, there was no aggression until he came into the clearing.
Yeah, because he knew your cousin was a bad person.
He was a very bad person. He did very bad things. And he knew that. And my cousin wouldn't go into the woods after that.
Well, good. So you had a place to get away then.
I actually did, yeah, and I used it. I was constantly in the woods. And I used to find, I used to walk around and find, injured animals and stuff and, take them home and nurse them back to health, and then take them back to where I found them and release them and stuff. My mom used to get so mad at me.
No, I'm that way too. I was watching a video today about a baby, somebody found a little kitten that they thought was dying, or a little kitten that was dying, and it ended up being a Black Panther kitten.
Oh.
So they raised this thing, and it's some long video about how they raised this thing. They show all the steps where they found it, and it was dying, and they nursed it, and that was this little black cat, little thing, and then it's growing bigger than they realize, and they're like, oh, wait a minute. And then all of a sudden they own this video of this Black Panther running and playing with their German Shepherd, and it's diving and jumping, and they're rolling in the snow and just best friends, So they raised this cat, which why couldn't you? Why couldn't you raise a cat bigger than...
I really hope they live in Texas.
Just let them outside and go to the bathroom. Nobody's going to mess with them, right?
Right?
Probably a pretty good security system, to say the least. But yeah, it's pretty cool.
I told you I suffered a personal loss recently, and 3 days ago, I accidentally rescued a dog.
Okay. Well, good for you.
And I'm looking forward to... I'm going to take her up to... up further into the mountains from where I had my experiences. I'm hoping maybe to see them again.
Okay. Yeah, we hope you do too. You can come back on and tell us about that.
Yeah. I want to take my daughter and my son up there too. Just because I want them to see what I have now.
And how old again were you when you first saw the first ones?
I was 7 or 8, and I was 12 when I saw them the last time.
Okay. And you can still go back to that same area you said where it happened?
Oh, yeah.
Much? Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I know I can go back to the second area.
Okay.
The first area has been built up a bit. So they may have put houses in there, although I really hope not.
Do you ever feel like you had some kind of connection with these creatures, or did they ever maybe?
I do, I don't know if this was an experience or not. I think I shared this with you. I'm not sure. I don't remember. One night we were walking home from school and it was raining really, really bad. And so I got kind of stuck. My brother had left me behind and I got kind of stuck on this little hill on this place called the Dirt Road. And, cause, I'm a kid. I'm scared of water, especially dark water. And, so I'm standing there and I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to get out of here. And I was feeling so alone and I was so scared. And suddenly, I felt like I wasn't alone anymore. I felt like I was safe. And even if I walked into the water, somebody would help me. And so I walked home feeling like somebody was walking with me and I could hear somebody moving in the woods. And I think it was them. And I've been thinking about it more and more, and there are so many times that I had been out in the woods just playing. I say playing, most of the time I loved just being in the woods. I would sit and read. I would just walk for miles. I would ride my bike. And there, I would hear movement. I would hear whistles. I would hear tree knocks. I'd hear movement nearby. And I'd always know that I was safe. And I always felt like it would be egotistical to believe that I had some connection to them, but I really do believe, I feel like I did. Like I still do. And maybe it's wishful thinking. But I would love to go up there. I'd love to take you guys up there. and see if we could see them.
Yeah, we would love to go up there.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? Even if we don't get to see them, just to be able to show them that I'm doing okay, that I'm still here.
Yeah, and if you
You
feel
know?
that connection, if you feel like they're still out there reaching out to you or whatever, I mean, go look for them again. I mean, we've heard so many times where people have had these encounters and you know, these creatures have mind spoke to them or reached out to them in different ways other than a physical way, you know, a visual way. And, you know, they go back and they encounter them again. I mean, you know,
There's definitely a feeling I get every time I'm up that way. It's like a pressure, but it's not, it's like a pleasant pressure near my heart. But it's like a pulling, like a very gentle pulling. And I'd never thought about it until you said that. I wonder if that's what that is.
yeah, go check it out. I mean, at least explore it, right? I mean, if you have that feeling, satisfy it and explore it and see what's going on. You can never know. A lot of people have experienced these creatures over and over, and have had these encounters where they become friends with them. They, you know, they share bonds with them in a weird way, and in a spiritual way, and in a mental way, also obviously in a visual way. So,
Yeah.
if you feel safe enough, you know, go out and check it out again. Go back to where you feel like, you know, maybe that you might run into them again, or in some way.
I honestly believe that they would never hurt me because they know that I would never hurt them. And I'd never hurt what they protect.
Yeah, we don't think these creatures are. I don't think they're harmful unless you're going to try to harm them.
Exactly.
Honestly, so. And you can feel that too, right? I mean, you understand that. Obviously, you have some kind of connection with them. Do you think these creatures are from this planet? Do you think they're were they put here like us? Are they? Do you think there's more to them than that? What's your thoughts about that?
I'm not sure. If they are like us, if they were, I don't think that they are, oh, what's that creature's name? The big orangutan-like thing.
Gigantopithecus.
But I think they're, thank you, Gigantopithecus.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they're Gigantopithecus. But I do think that they evolved from a similar ancestor. I think that they are what we should have been, or there's something between them and us that should have been. But yeah, I think there's definitely a similar ancestor. But you know, I also have wondered if they are from, you know, maybe another universe that has kind of crossed over and they've gotten stranded here with these horrible creatures, you know? And they're kind of just, you know, every once in a while anyone gets stuck here, and so they have to make the best of things. Or, you know, maybe they were created by aliens and left here to teach us how to properly care for our planet. I don't know. I think we have so much we could learn from them. You're going to fall off if you keep doing that. You know, sorry.
You're fine. No, we can all feel that. I think we all feel that way in a little bit. You know, are they being put here by aliens? Were we put here by aliens? Are aliens what people call angels? Well, you can get in that deep spectrum, but yeah,
oh, yeah.
People talk about these creatures having magical powers or being able to change their energy and turn into these orbs or cloak so to speak, like Predator. And people try to understand that's like, well, that's impossible. But, like you said earlier, you don't think they have the ability to make fire. And I don't think they do either. We do.
But I do think.
But I think they have other powers, other things that they can do that we don't, maybe. The ability to hide, cloak, whatever they do in a certain way.
They remind me of hobbits, actually, from J.R.R. Tolkien's work a little bit. They have their own magic. I believe that their magic is in the earth. They can help things grow. They can hide. They can be silent. They can walk through the woods in the middle of fall and not make a noise unless they want to. So I agree with you. And I think I don't know if they can't make fire or they don't want to make fire. Because fire is a very destructive thing.
If you think about it, though, too, us as humans, the reason we knew about fire was probably because we watched lightning hit something and set it on fire like a tree.
Yeah.
Maybe they did, too. Maybe they know how. Maybe they do. Maybe we don't know that. Maybe they know how to make fire in a cave. Maybe they cause these wildfires that happen out in the Pacific Northwest. Who knows? Maybe they do. For some reason, I want to say they don't, though. I don't know why.
I wonder if they do because, honestly, the forest needs the wildfires to survive, which I know sounds counterintuitive, but the seeds from the trees and the nuts from the trees, certain trees need the heat from the wildfires. They have evolved to need that heat in order to sprout and grow new trees. I want to be a botanist.
No, you're right. We need that. We need the reproduction and we need the reset, so to speak, and that's nature's way of doing that.
Exactly. And it wasn't until I think the past 50 years that we discovered that by stopping the forest fires, we were doing more harm than good. And they're so big now because we've interfered and we've prevented them for so long that they've overgrown. Like the dry areas have overgrown. I was doing some research on this a couple of years ago. And that's not the case with all the large wildfires, but that is the case with some of them. And, it makes me wonder if they used to. It makes me wonder if they really are the true, I guess, tenders of the earth. If they're the ones who are supposed to really be cultivating things. And we just kind of stole it from them. And they're too good to fight back. Which is kind of a bleak outlook, but I don't know.
Well, it could be that they've been here so long that they know what to do to survive and stay in that realm. The Bible does say the meek will inherit the earth. Maybe they're
that
the meek.
Is true.
Maybe those are the meek. They just stay in their woods and they just endure their lives and live.
I hope we get to join them
than we do, and don't get involved in the craziness that humans do.
I really hope we get to join them when that time comes.
Yeah, sometimes I think it would be cool.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
It'd be cool to be a Bigfoot, right? Sometimes you think that, but my God, how cold would you get sometimes? I mean, or how...
Well, that's what the hair's for.
Yeah, but
the caves.
Again, don't they have... Yeah, they probably have caves. They probably have... I'm sure they have places to go to get out of that. They're more in touch with this planet and the nature than we are, so I'm sure they got it figured out.
Yeah, like they've got... They build things, they build structures, and they have that beautiful hair that is very thick.
Yeah, which makes you think they were built to be on this earth, obviously. So they have to be from this earth, right? You would, just like we are.
Yeah.
However we got
Well,
here.
it makes me wonder, though, because if you look at humans, we do not look like we evolved to survive on this world.
That is a good point. You're right. We don't.
We evolved to be right where we're at. I mean, we used to be just like them. We used to live in caves, and we used to, hunt. And we just kept going up the tree, and they branched off.
Who knows? Well, I don't think we were meant to know. Like Brian and I always said, when we started this, we thought we knew everything about Bigfoot. Oh, Bigfoot, yeah, well. And we have more questions now, and it's opened our mind to so many more things than just Bigfoot. It's opened our minds
So many rabbit holes
to why we are here and how we got here and the whole thing. I mean, we're not against any kind of religion or any aspects or anything like that. It just opens up a lot of questions when you talk about these creatures.
Yeah.
That's the true beauty about when you seek knowledge. If you don't leave with more questions than answers, you failed.
Well, that's us every time we have one of these shows.
Definitely.
Right? That's why I love learning. There's always just more to learn. There was one small other little story that I wanted to share. I don't know if it was Bigfoot or not, but I think it was.
Okay.
My sister and I shared a bedroom, and we had a very bad man in the neighborhood who would peep in windows. And he ran away one night because something or someone was chasing him through the woods. And I honestly believe that was Bigfoot saying, "Get away from my girl."
Peeping Tom gets
Yeah.
peeped, right? Well, they
Exactly.
talk about how Bigfoot do, if they have the opportunity. I think Bigfoots will look in people's houses and windows. I've said it 100 times. They know more about us than we know about them. If they have an opportunity to sneak up on a house that's in the middle of nowhere in the woods, they're going to do that. And we've heard that so many times. They peek in the windows. They look or they'll set out in the tree line and just have your lights on, and they can see how. They're gonna watch people, and they do that. Why would you not do that? I would too if I was a Bigfoot, right?
Right?
So,
I was listening to one of your episodes, and the gentleman was talking about how they would sit up and watch the highway.
yeah. Watch cars go by. Yep.
Yep.
Isn't that crazy? I would though. I would too.
I would. If I was them, I'd keep an eye on us too.
They're probably fascinated by us. Like, look at these human beings. Look at what they're doing. They're driving these cars. They're living in these houses. We're in these caves. They do these things. It's amazing. It's got to be amazing for them too, but we don't get that opportunity with them. They're just so.
I'm sure they make fun of us.
Probably.
Oh yeah.
They probably know some of our language too. You never know.
You never know.
I'm sure they do.
I've heard of that before too. So people have heard them talk. I've heard of stories where a guy was outside calling his dog. His dog's name was Peanut, right? And he'd be out. He'd let out, and he had this activity going on. And he lived in these woods. And he said one night I'm out there, and I'm like, "Hey, come on, Peanut, come on, Peanut." And the dog came in the house, and he said maybe 2 or 3 minutes later, he heard very deep voice outside. It wasn't a human voice, but he just heard something go, "Peanut, Peanut," calling for this dog, because it was replicating what he heard. And he's like, that was not a human voice. I don't know what that was. He thought it was a demon at first, maybe, or something like that, but I'm thinking maybe more. They can repeat sounds, right? So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they say they're pretty good mimics. So.
I think it's more than mimicry. I think at first it's mimicry, but I think they learn. I think they know what they're saying.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, they say they have their own language, and if they have their own language and they can talk, they can reiterate like that, then they can learn, right? They can repeat, and they can learn concept. So more so than a bird that can talk, right? They have more knowledge
exactly.
than that. So, Bethany, again, it was great having you on tonight. We had really great fun talking to you, and
it was.
Well, thank you again for
cool
having
encounter.
me and for her. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, if you get back out there, then if you see something else or see them again, let us know. Keep in touch.
I will definitely do that. And if you guys ever find your way up this way, let me know and I can show you where things happened.
Right. We definitely want to make it out there for a cryptid show or a Bigfoot show conference or something like that. So if we can get out there, we'll get in touch with you and we can maybe meet up and see what we can do out there.
That would be awesome.
Okay.
That would.
Sounds good.
All right. You have a wonderful evening.
You too, Bethany. Thanks
You
again.
too, Bethany. Thanks.
You take care.
You as well.
All right, man. It was cool having Bethany on and talking about those encounters. Interesting how she saw the couple, the female and the male Bigfoot, and then later on in life she thinks she saw them again. And they kind of protected her, a little bit.
They really did.
Anyway, it's cool having her on. I'm glad we got to talk to her and
Yeah, it was.
have her here. So, listeners, we want to thank you guys, as always, for being here with us tonight. I want to give a shout out to all you guys. We appreciate you all. And we
All
also
of
want to let you know about our Patreon. Go check that out. Where do they go, Brian? Just search Cryptid Creatures on Patreon. Is that how they look us up?
Yep.
Cryptid Creatures.
Patreon.com and look up Cryptid Creatures and we'll be there.
Yeah, we got different tiers, different levels. Some we have members only episodes, some we have videos, and some we have both, some we have extra content. All kinds of different things going on. Anything different and new we can come up with, we like to put on there, a variety. So
And we'll add some other fun stuff too every now and then. So check it out.
again, thank you guys for being here with us. We appreciate you all.
All of you. Thank you.
With that, my friend, say we wrap this up and get out of here. What do you say? You ready?
Yep. See ya.